And what's going on, guys? Kale here, coming at you with another video. Those of you new to the channel, I am an endgame player with 3 accounts, all in the endgame, kind of starting at various stages. Today I kind of wanted to talk about, we're kind of at a maybe interesting point in the game, as far as this has kind of been a slow patch, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is there's not really too much in this patch that is like required to work on. And I think that can kind of lead to maybe not necessarily confusion, but just kind of a lack of direction. And kind of maybe, I guess, maybe a lack of focus. And kind of having 3 accounts, I think it does give me a little bit of a unique perspective as to like what I'm working on, where I'm at as far as like the progression of things. And with 2 of the accounts being free to play, the 3rd account being, I would say maybe a light spender. I think it does give me kind of like a little bit of a unique perspective. So I wanted to kind of open up the roster and kind of just show what I'm working on. So currently, right now, we are on Balerion, the baby account amongst my 3. And my baby account is currently at 16 million. So still, not all that much of a baby account anymore. But as far as the 3 accounts go, this is definitely the smallest. And kind of what I'm working on right now, as far as just kind of generic campaign energy. This count is just a little bit over a year old, I think, at this point now. So kind of what I'm doing, I'm farming kind of my standard characters that I don't have maxed out. Really, this is just to spend kind of campaign energy. There aren't really any characters currently that are farmable that are necessary maybe for the end game, with the exception of like the first couple that I do farm daily. So like Wong, Kate Bishop, definitely needed, kind of for the end game. I'm working on getting Psylocke up to 7 stars on this account, just because she was never really a priority prior to that, with the announcement of the Death Seed team. So just kind of farming characters that are not at 7 stars. And typically what I'm doing right now on Balerion, and actually the other 2 accounts as well, what I'll do is like once the gold refresh starts, per day, I'll basically go in and I'll kind of scroll down here, and I will take the first character I see that has a star up, and I will star them up. And then following that, I will then switch on over to my Verse Battle tab. And those of you that are familiar either with myself or the channel, this is kind of my primary focus tab. And this is the stuff that I'm really working on. So currently, right now with Balerion, I'm working on taking characters that are required for Apocalypse to G17. So I've actually already managed, Morgan Le Fay is already at G17 on Balerion. Rogue is almost there, just 1 piece away. And then Red Hulk is kind of the next one to kind of go up. So what I'm actually currently doing is, I would imagine the War Scourge will probably be coming back for a second pass, probably fairly soon. So, working on kind of getting Gamma up and running. And then I actually also still have to finish Phantom X. So I actually don't know why I started Abomination before I started Phantom X. I should actually be on Phantom X. Once that is kind of accomplished, take him to G16. I will then do the Rogue Saga, get that taken care of pretty quickly. Following that, I'll then kind of work on Gamma, get them to their G16 respectfully up to level 90. And then kind of what I've been doing with the Horseman teams is I've been taking kind of the keystone or the most important member, and I take them to G17 first, which, 99.9, literally 100% of the time, is going to be the Horseman character. Following that, I'll then take kind of like the next important character up to G17, and so on and so forth. So my current thing right now with Balerion is I will actually finish up Phantom X, get him to level 90, G16, do the Rogue Saga. Once that has been accomplished, I will then go back over to Gamma, get Red Hulk to 90, might be able to take him up to G17, not too sure if I have enough here, and then I'll finish working on the remaining members, so in this case, Abomination, Brawn, and She-Hulk. Once that has been finished, the next character that I think is kind of a higher priority is going to be Spider-Weaver, and Spider-Weaver is going to be a priority for me just because, again, she's required for Apocalypse. Now, there are some kind of funny characters on here that you're like, well, why are they here? Coulson, for example. Coulson is up here. He just happens to be one of the ISO 8 characters I am farming right now for controllers. And the reason I'm farming ISO 8 controller ISOs is because Dark Beast is going to be a controller. And I want him to be able to go to Blue 3 pretty much as soon as he comes out. So that's kind of why Coulson is here. Other characters that, I'm working on, I do kind of value Cosmic Crucible, so you'll notice Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Man 2099 are up here, and those are, I think, important as well. You'll also see Psylocke, and actually Magneto should be up here as well. So let's go ahead and add him real quick. And basically the idea behind that is, raids I still think are probably right up there for like one of the most important game modes, as it's content you're doing every day. This content is going to get you your G17 orbs, or the Teal Elite orbs, rather. So I think it is important to focus on raid characters, and we are still quite a bit of ways from the Death Seed team. Typically, the way things work, the December patch is normally a long one. It kind of spans through December and January. So I do think it is going to be quite some time before we have the full Death Seed team. So it's not a super high priority on a free-to-play account to get them built up like right now. It does obviously go a little bit slower on a free-to-play, and that's okay. So currently what I'm doing, like I mentioned, I'm bringing up 1-star character a day, and then also what I'll do once that gold does refresh is I will take the character that I'm currently working on, so in this case it'll be Phantom X. I'll pop in 2 million gold into like leveling him up, and then I'll basically bring up any required gear and talents that go with it as well, and or skills, whatever we're calling these days. And then, so yeah, that's kind of what I do on a daily. And then what happens is I try to keep myself above 2 million gold. So when I spend my 2 million, if I drop below 2 million, what I'll do, or 20 million rather, what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll open up gold orbs. And again, these are another kind of thing that I'm hoarding, but I'll open up 10, and that should hopefully push me over the 20 million threshold. Once I get below 100 gold orbs, so if I drop down to basically double digits, I will then reduce my spending, and instead of investing 2 million a day, I only invest 1 million, and that's kind of what I do there. As far as other things, supply orbs, kind of what I'm going through here is any teal gear that I need. Pretty self-exclamatory. I'll also buy some gold hero uniques as well. Blitz store, I'll keep my gold, my war energy maxed out. Raid store, kind of the same thing, buying any orange gear that I might need, in particular the hero uniques as well. In the arena store currently on Balerion, I think the only character I don't really have maxed, one of the only characters is Colleen Wing, so working on that. War store, when Scarlet Spider or Echo pop up, I do buy them, as well as any teal gear that is needed. I don't currently use orange gear with my raid credit or my war credits anymore, and with the announcement of the teal orb finally coming to the game, I'm currently saving my elite war credits. Cosmic Crucible store, and I'm only going to do this on the one account as far as the stores because it's the same on all three. But I will go over kind of what each individual account is working on based off of how long I've kind of been playing those accounts. So in the Cosmic Crucible store, I don't buy the teal hero uniques if they are over 20. If they're under 20, I will buy them if it's one I need. Pretty much what I'm saving most of my Crucible credits for is for the G17 pieces. And pretty much any origin that's not skill and tech really, I'm buying. as there's really no skill or tech characters currently that are needed for Apocalypse. So I'm basically saving it for Mystic, Bio, and Mutant. In the Elite store, again, kind of nothing really has changed here. I'm basically just buying characters that I can kind of start up. I don't normally buy 7 stars. I normally only go up to 6. Something that has changed though recently, and it has to do with like the abundance of the green ions that I have, is now I'm actually currently buying green ISO pieces that are under 81, and that's because I just have a large abundance. I will say if my ions dip below 1,000,000, I'll probably stop, but for the time being, that's kind of what I've been doing. Going over the orbs real quick, just kind of the conspiracy theory type stuff. I normally open my premium orbs when I get to 10, and I'll open 10 at, I'll open them one at a time. Red stars I only open when we are doing the 10 times Dark Promotion credits, which should hopefully be happening soon. I try to keep those around 30 just in case I have really awful orb luck with a new character that I might particularly want, which isn't really the case this patch, but we'll talk about that in a second. Basic orbs, kind of again, I do the 10 theory where I open them once they get to 10. Gold orbs we already talked about, and then these other ones I just open when I get to 10 just because it's easier. I don't really hoard them for any particular reason. And then 14s and 15s I just open as needed. So that's kind of the orb portion and kind of also what I'm working on character-wise. So we are going to switch on over now. Let's go on over to Vermithor. So this is my middle account. So this is Vermithor. Again, looking at the TCP of this account, Vermithor I started just about a year after I started my main account, which is Vhagar. So I've been playing Vhagar over 4 years now, so Vermithor is probably in about the 3-year mark. This account is 21 million. And again, for the most part, Vermithor is free to play as well. Once in a blue moon, if I see like one of those really good, $5 offers, I'll occasionally buy those. But for the most part, Vermithor is free to play as well. You see kind of a very similar style. However, with Vermithor, I have a lot more characters maxed out. So really, these ones here are the only unfarmable characters currently that Vermithor doesn't have to 7 stars. So I do farm these on a daily basis. And again, kind of the same thing. I don't actually think there's currently any characters that are ready for a star up. But kind of the same thing. If I do have a character that's able to star up when the gold when the gold milestone refreshes, I'll star up a character by just kind of scrolling through, which I don't think there currently is one. Yeah, there's not. So basically what I'll then do is then at the gold milestone refresh, I'll then basically just pop 2 million gold. But so these are the characters I'm farming. And then if we go on over to the verse battle, you'll see it's very similar to Balerion. Slightly different characters, but kind of the same general concept. So working on getting Morgan Le Fay to G17. Same thing with Red Hulk, as well as Rogue. I've already finished out the Unlimited X-Men on Vermithor, so I do still have to take some of them to 90, Rogue obviously being one of them, but I'm currently building up Gamma, so I've got Abomination over here to level 90. I am short currently the Gamma Radiations. I wanted to get Red Hulk to G17 first. I thought that was a higher priority, which is what I've done, or at least I've, equip that part of it. So now any other gamma radiation that I need, I don't mind investing into the rest of the team. So Abomination is sitting up here until he gets his last gamma radiation, and currently I am working on Brawn, taking him to level 90. And once I finish Brawn, I'm actually going to be building up Dormammu, and the reasoning behind that is I'm just still finding some usage for Dormammu in Cosmic Crucible in particular, and when I unlock Dormammu on Vermithor, not that he was out of the meta, but he just wasn't being used as much, and there was kind of a higher priority to put that Mystic Gear into Darkhold, and that's kind of the avenue I went. So now that Darkhold is pretty much up and running, they're all G16 at this point, I don't mind taking Dormammu to G16 now. I definitely have the spare Mystic resources, so I'm okay with it. Once I do finish Dormammu, I'll start bringing up Magneto and Psylocke to level 90, as well as G16. And then you'll also see up here, just as kind of like maybe little fun projects, I do have Hela and Iron Man Zombie up here, or Zim. Don't really focus too much on war, but outside of the characters I currently have favorited up here, there's not anyone else I'm really kind of like looking at building. So they're up here as, we'll see how long it takes to get through this patch, and, there are options to take to level 90. Now, if I do take Zim to 90, I don't think I'm going to take him past G12, and the reasoning behind that is his hero unique is still, rare. There's only one way to get it, and that was from the Zombie Iron Man event, and I've got a sneaking suspicion that Archangel is going to require this unique, so I'm saving it. I'd rather spend it on Archangel than Zim, and Zim honestly doesn't really need like high gear level. He functions really well even at the lower levels. Now, if I do happen to finish the Undying team, I guess my next project, for lack of a better word, I guess would be maybe the War Dogs. And that's, I guess, it'll depend on how long this patch lasts. Shuri, I already have, pretty built up. I would obviously have to do some investment in Okoye and Black Panther, and 1 mil and Nakia. But that's something I'm kind of considering, and I guess that's kind of part of the point of this video is, once I think you kind of get your Apocalypse teams where they need to be and your raid teams where they need to be, it kind of gives you a little bit more liberty to work on some things that maybe aren't as high of a priority. And I don't normally prioritize war teams, so I'll build them because they're there, and I will get some usage out of them, obviously, but it's not a high priority for me. So that is Vermithor. Again, the store stuff is all very similar. So let's hop on over to the main account, which is Vagar. This is my original account. I started just a little bit after the launch of the game. This is the account that I do occasionally spend on. Don't spend nearly as much as I used to, just because the way the current state of the game is with certain character releases, they don't really thrill me, so I don't buy them, and kind of so on and so forth. But Vagar, teetering on that 26 million, and with Vagar, the account being as old as it is, these are the only 3 characters currently that are not 7 stars that are farmable. So I'm working on those. And then if we hop on over to the Verse Battle tab, it's going to be even further kind of smaller than the other 3 accounts, and this just kind of becomes a thing of, I've had this account for so long. So, kind of the same thing. We're working on MILF, Morgan Le Fay, getting her to G17. I've already finished Rogue, as well as Red Hulk, so I'm working on my next 2 characters. So Gambit is next on my list. He's 2 pieces away, and Hulk over here is quite a few pieces away. The next passion project is actually Magneto and Psylocke. You can see I've taken them both to level 90, and I'm currently working on taking Magneto to G16. It's basically just a lack of gear, so I'm currently farming these 2 pieces over here from the difficulty, or the hard section of heroes, 1-1 and 1-2. Once I finish Magneto, get him to G16, I'll start working on Psylocke, get her to G16 as well. And kind of again, what I'm working on, very similar to Vermithor, is I am currently building Hela and Zim, take them up to 90. Hela, I might actually take to G16. There doesn't seem to be a lot of Mystic characters coming out at the moment, so I'm okay with kind of spending that gear. And again, same thing with Zim. I won't take him past G12. Shield Trooper and Kree Reaper are here basically just for the ISOs that I'm farming. So I'm currently farming Brawler ISO, And when I am out for the day and I can't farm that anymore, I'm also farming Blaster ISOs, and that's why they're here. Which actually, I need to switch over to a new character because Blaster is done. But, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on there. What else? Kind of the same thing. Talking about mail, I didn't talk about this on the other two accounts, but as far as hoarding goes, I'm pretty much hoarding everything now at this point. Unfortunately, Scopely has really turned a lot of these events into hoarding events. So basically, I hoard everything until it gets to less than a day, and it'll start counting down the hours. Once that happens, I'll claim it just in case it's needed for anything. The exception to that is like specific currency, like the current tokens that we get from the web milestone. I do claim those as soon as I get them, but everything else I hold on to. So yeah, so I think it's always important to have kind of a focus. And once you kind of finish that focus, you can kind of drift off into maybe things that are less of a priority. The other thing, too, is keeping this is a game still, so keeping it fun, and if there's a certain team that you want to build just to build, go ahead and do it. You need to get some enjoyment, I think, out of this. Me personally, I kind of take more of the enjoyment out of that like laser focused approach. I think I've always been that way with hero collector type games, RPGs, etc. So that's kind of what I enjoy. But so hopefully this video has given you a little bit of direction on kind of what to work on with a slower patch. If you did find this video helpful, please feel free to like and subscribe. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching. Take it easy and have a good one.